Welcome back, everyone, to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph, and today again have our special guest, Angel Mondragon, on to give us some technical analysis on what is going on in the market today and a lot of the hottest cryptos. So yeah, we love having Angel here. It's been really hard lately to have our time frames and timelines match up, but it's been, it's great to have him here again, and thank you for coming back.
Yeah, and thanks for shouting me out on the YouTube as well, because if people have been following along from your guys' channel, within the last 3 weeks, we've done a little over 1,000% already within the last 3 weeks doing TA on all of these crypto coins between WAN, Q Quantum, and then what was the other one? Ripple.
Yeah, Ripple finally burst.
Yeah.
It was ready to run. In fact, it felt like 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, there was some massive FUD that came out about it that was very suspicious. It's like, I feel like they're purposely releasing this FUD. It was related to MoneyGrams complaining about it not being fast enough for their use. And I was like, this is really suspicious that I think they're purposely fudding it to get in as much cheap as possible before it then takes off. And that's exactly what happened. Cool. So, would love to get some technical analysis. Thank you, all of you who have joined Angel's YouTube channel and followed along, because I'm a fundamental analysis investor that has some technical analysis experience. But if you're looking to really strengthen your technical analysis skills, you really need to follow Angel's channel, Novelty Known. And if you haven't already, join my Telegram below, and we have a link to Angel's YouTube channel pinned in the messages there. So the way you do that is you click on the See More. It'll show a lot of the details related to the video, and you'll find the link to the Telegram channel there. If you go to that and scroll through the pinned messages, you'll find a link to Angel's YouTube channel, Novelty Known, so that you can join him, because he'll take you on a day-to-day basis through a lot of the technical analysis on some of the tokens to give you an update on how that's looking. And most important of that is, if you're trying to get good at technical analysis, it really comes through repetition and spending the time and putting in the time. I mean, that's how Angel got so good, is for 6 years he was doing this on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's pattern recognition. Just let your brain do its thing, and over time, it's a prediction machine, right? Your brain. So over time, if you just stay looking at the charts, you're going to be able to recognize the patterns. Don't get too caught up on the names. I even get mixed up calling candle patterns different names, but it's about actually recognizing the patterns rather than knowing the names.
Yeah. So what's the first one we want to look at today?
I'm not sure. What are you looking at? What is it?
Let's start with Gardano.
Cardano? Oh, okay, perfect.
It's one of my favorites, and it's one of my long-term holds.
So I actually just bought some, I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm interested in, for various reasons, by Cardano. For you.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here, as obviously you can see this upward trend. Where is the line charts?
Now, is there one with more history on it? It looks like we don't have very much.
Yeah, that one is kind of weird.
History on that pairing.
Is this ADA?
If you pair it with USDT.
Yeah, that's what I was on. I'm on Kraken.
Binance paired with USDT should give us a lot more history than that. It doesn't give us a perfect history, but it does give us a pretty.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so let's remove this stuff, and then where is your? There it is. Perfect. All right, so what we're gonna do is go on to the highest time frame available, or the highest time frame with the most amount of data available, which probably would be monthly in this instance. And what we're going to be doing is just identifying the most relative or critical areas of structure relative to where price is at and to where it could be going. And what we're going to be using this for is, once we overlay our fibs, we can kind of determine more or less which ones are going to be most significant for us, what zones will be more significant for us as far as loading, reversals, and entries. So once we've done that, one more real quick right here, then we go back to the candles, and then we just throw on our fib. So we have 2 fibs that we want to throw on. This is going to be the weekly leg, and nothing really catching right here. We do see that this candle came down and touched our 38, and that's the minimum threshold that I'm looking for whenever I'm looking for entries. Let's take it down to the monthly, and same thing. So what we're going to do is identify this monthly leg right here as a critical area of structure that would be relative for entry, and that's actually kind of where we had talked about on my channel, where we were looking at entering based on confirmation of candles. So if we go down to the lower time frame, Oh, real quick. So if that does end up actually being our point of support, which it seems like it is, the actual target points are going to be around the 350, and then the second target point is going to be closer towards the 7, I think 720, 730. So those are some pretty ambitious target points, but we've already had some sideways consolidation on the monthly, so that seems pretty reasonable within this next run. So let's go down to the weekly real quick. And let me delete this. And you can see that we actually ended up closing just above that 38 structure, or fib zone, which actually ended up being structure. And we tested it again with this nice doji candle up here. And right now, all we're really concerned with, if we want to continue seeing a push forward, is just breaking above this basically 130 zone and treating it as support. So if we go down to the daily time frame, we might be able to see something like that happening. So what we want to see right here on this time frame is basically price coming down here, touching it, and that could be one candle or it could be a series of candles. And then if we can confirm that with one more candle close, then we're likely going to see a continuation towards our targets. From there, we can start looking at whether or not we want to take profit up here at the 350, or if we're just going to let it run its course and go up towards the second target, which it probably will.
So I know many of you ask me, when should I buy in Cardano? And, we can't say specifically. Number one, it'd be financial advice. Number two, all of us have different timelines. But we try to go over what kind of things we look at when we make our decisions. And so,
So as far as a entry place for you, the most ideal would be obviously if it could come back down towards this this dollar mark, $1.04. But for individuals who might have missed that opportunity, on that retest around the $1.30 range, if you can get a candle close on the daily confirming that zone as support, that would be another optimal entry zone based on your entry conditions, of course.
in other words, what he's probably saying is it'll probably not come back to $1.02. But the chances are really slim. That ship has sailed. I know I loaded up on a bunch more, and I'm already heavy on Cardano. When it was like at $1.02, and some FUD came out, and just after a massive run, things traded sideways for a while. It came to $1.02, and I was like, oh my gosh. I had just taken some profits on something else, and I was like, what am I going to put that in? Cardano is at $1.02. Oh my gosh, let me chart it out. Yep. Oh, buy zone. And so is it a good buy now? Well, it's a lot better buy than $3. But it's not as good as it was, and I don't know if it'll get back to where it was. Maybe the whole market has a massive FUD episode, and all the prices come down by half. That would be great. That would be a massive buy zone for me on everything. It wouldn't worry me unless it was like World War III. That would worry me for other reasons.
Yeah.
So we're in the middle of crypto bull run. What happens is you're lucky if you get a 33% retracement. If you get a 50% retracement, you're really lucky.
Yeah.
And if you get a 76% retracement, count your lucky stars.
Seriously. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so just dollar cost average or wait for that entry.
Yeah. Next one, let's check out Chainlink, because Chainlink has been trading sideways for quite a while after some massive gains, but it has been trading sideways. Now,
is this the best one?
No. What exchange would have had Chainlink for a long time? I know this is part of the trouble, is finding one that has
here we go.
Sufficient history. Yes, let's take a look at that.
So same thing. We're just gonna go onto the highest time frame with the most amount of structure available. Go to the line chart, and as always, we're just gonna start identifying the critical areas of structure. And this is like the pray and spray method, essentially. And then once we get that, and relative to where price is at and to where it could be going, by the way, you don't need to come way down here. Then we're going to overlay our fibs. So we got this monthly leg right here. And the thing is, it's kind of difficult. So what I would like to do with something like this, because we don't know where exactly the end point for this particular pattern is. So a good way to kind of test that is if you have an extra leg that's available. To get the current leg, you need to take information on the previous leg, essentially. So we can see here that we're touching this 127 extension already. So that could be telling us that this might be a potential area of resistance right here. And if that does end up being an area of resistance, we just, like I said, take that fib back over here and where we would be looking for potential pivot points for us that align with our structure so that we can look at potential entry zones or optimal entry zones. And we can see here that the 61 fib is aligning with our structure right here, in addition to the 78 fib down here. So basically what we're saying is if this area ends up, this 36, 37 area ends up being our area of resistance, we might see a fall down towards these zones right here, which would be the 1589 or 1582 area. And that's where we would want to see ideal areas for loading, essentially. Assuming that this area does get treated as resistance. Now, it could blow past it, obviously, and we're placing a bullish bias or bullish sentiment on a lot of this stuff, so there's a higher probability of probably blow past that area of resistance. But if you were to ask me as a trader, the most optimal place I would look for would be a resistance and a pullback, and having this be our loading zone.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing on the smaller time frames.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go down to the weekly real quick and just kind of, so you see it already tested this area as resistance. I mean, that just goes to show you the power of fibs. Obviously, they're not 100%. It's not like it's a magic 8-ball. But if we do continue to treat this as resistance again, so we would get a double top, and we'll likely see a fall back down at least towards this 18,998 level. And that's where we can start looking for opportunities to buy again. So if, once again, if and only if we get this as resistance. So what we would need to see here is this candle close kind of below this area of structure, and a second test candle closing below, and then a confirmation candle closing below. So if we can get that, then it's likely going to come back down, which would be healthy. It would give us some retracements and some consolidations, some sideways action, before it can pump back up towards some nice targets.
Cool.
If it does break out, sorry, you could actually just see another push towards that. What was it, the 361 extension from that previous leg that we were talking about?
One of the big ones everyone knows that I follow closely is Wanchain.
Oh yeah.
Take a look at Wanchain.
Everyone on our channel hit profit on that one, I think.
You know, it's been a winner for us, and I still feel like it's so undervalued still. I think it's like 360 million market cap or something, but for the technology and the team behind it, and they landed a deal with the third largest company in the world, and the price pumped up, and then it retraced. And that just tells me there's not a lot following it yet. They haven't caught on, and that's okay. I'm totally cool with knowing the fundamentals behind something are really good, and everyone else hasn't realized that yet. That's what happened when I was buying Cardano at 2 cents, and then buying more at 13 cents, and then some more. Did I buy more at 33 cents? I don't know. I might have sold something and bought some more at 33 cents. I can't quite remember. But, you know, because the fundamentals behind it were solid. Now, it was okay with everyone else not realizing it yet. Now everyone's realized it, and everyone talks about Cardano every single day, which is great that they came to the party. They were just all late. Wanchain, there's a lot of people late to the party, haven't come yet, but they, you know, the fundamentals are there. So what I usually find is they eventually realize it, and then everybody talks about it. Just way better to have a whole lot of it before everyone's talking about it, because by the time everyone's talking about it, it's had some of its massive gains, and you have to just then wait till everyone's forgotten about it again to be able to get a good buy entry on it.
So for this one, we're looking at 2 potential loading zones. So if we see that we're starting to see a retracement down here, and if we end up treating this 38 fib structure as support, then our target would be around the 582, and then take profit 2 would be around 1166. However, if we do not treat this area as support, this $1.78 zone, then the next fib zone that aligns with structure is going to be the 61 fib, and that'll be a retracement down towards the $7 mark. And both of the 2 zones would be good loading zones, depending on whether or not we actually confirm those zones as support. So the way you confirm those as support is go down to the daily and the 4-hour, and basically we're just getting candle closes. So it's a 3 candle series. We got a tester candle, a signal candle, tester candle, and then a confirmation, and basically treating this area as support or this area as support if it does come down to those zones. But I would be looking first at the $80 mark to see whether or not that's going to be tested as support.
Be a really good buy if it comes back down to that. I don't know. You know, it's like as it continues, other things have continued to do crazy. I've used that to buy some other things.
I mean, if we just look at the previous leg, we did have a retracement to the 61. So, I mean, it would be feasible for us to see a similar type of retracement here as well.
That'd be amazing. I hope so. Let me just take the mouse for a sec.
Yeah.
I want to check here. And we're going to go like this. Okay, good. I want to make sure audio's coming through fine. Now, let me give you the mouse. There you go. Cool.
So yeah, that's what we're looking at. Probably because this is crypto, and like I said, we have that bullish sentiment. It'd be more likely that we would see maybe a touchdown here, but testing this 38 as our support zone.
Let's take a look at Akomi. I've been, happy.
What is the ticker?
OMI. No, you know what? We're not going to be able to chart it. We're going to have to. You actually have to pull up CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, and it won't let us do TradingView because it's not on an exchange that has an agreement with TradingView or CoinGecko. So all we have to look at is this.
Is this the full?
That's not the full.
This is all.
Oh, that's all that CoinMarketCap has it registered,
Okay.
which is fine because the previous structure was so long ago, and it really it came out in a bear market and it dumped down to 0 almost. So really, that's
So basically,
relevant
we
history.
could see this like a trend line kind of happening right here, and we're touching. If I were to be tracing that, it would be touching the bottom of that trend line. And in addition to that, we have this structure right here at this mark. So we have two pieces of structure essentially. We have a trend line and we actually have support. So if obviously we can't see the candles. If we start getting candle confirmations around that zone, then we can start looking at it, treating it as support. And this honestly would be a good buying opportunity based on your entry conditions, obviously. As far as targets, the first target I would want to test would be up here, the previous all-time high. And then from there, it would be an extension, assuming that we were able to actually find that extension. But unfortunately, we can't. However, like I said, this area is... Oh, man, I wish I could draw it.
I know, it's so hard not being able to draw it, but
So if you could
I've
trace...
been using this area as a loading zone for OMI. And
Yeah.
I do have buy orders in below in case it breaks through this structure. It's tested it multiple times.
I mean, yeah, you can
If
see it's
it does
tested 3
break
times.
through, because people have weak hands, and it just is a fact of life.
Paper hands.
And they just get paper hands. They just get worried that it's gonna break through. It's gonna keep going down from here, and then they just dump. And some of them bought it so cheap they have the ability to dump and still be hugely in profit. So I have been cashing out gains from Chain or Hollow Token, which was another meme coin that I thought there's fundamentals behind it too, which I like. But it's so cheap. I knew that the Dogecoin wave could roll into Chain. I didn't realize OMI would be so big because this was my thought pattern back in November, and truthfully, I had completely forgotten about Akomi. And so I rolled in not even all that much into Chain, but it has gone tremendously up, and so I've been cashing out gains and moving some of that into OMI because Chain's price or market cap is 3 times higher than Akomi, and I was like, longer term, I like both of them, but I like Akomi more, so I'm going to take profits here, roll more into Akomi, and this has been a buy zone for me.
Yeah, so this is a good buy zone, and it like Jared was saying, appending to what he was talking about, if this does actually break and we don't treat it as support, the next loading zone would be down here to the 003 mark. So as you can see, that has been pretty consistent structure as well. So assuming that this doesn't end up being a good support zone, that would be the next place I would be looking at buying.
And that's where I have some buy orders sitting and waiting, hoping that they do get filled.
And sometimes you just get flash crashes, and then you'll just get price dumping within like a matter of an hour, and then it just jumps back up.
Yes, which is why we love buy orders. Now,
Yep.
It's a pain, like if you're on Bit4X or whatever, that you have to convert from BTC to USD to put in those buy orders. Probably worth your time, though.
Yep, I would think so too. OMG.
Yeah, it always tries to pull up OMG when you look for OMI, but we're not looking at OMG. Let's look at Icon. Speaking of OMG,
ICX.
we're going to rewind time to 2017, and this was one of the biggest
It's
pumps.
ICX, right?
Yeah, ICX. One of the biggest pumps of the last bull market, and it retraced huge. And it's finding some support. I did buy some of this, and I think I flipped it for triple. When it got so cheap, I couldn't pass it up. But I haven't continued to hold it because I don't speak any Korean. And
have to get on my
I just wasn't getting enough news on it to know if the team is doing amazing things or did they not survive the bear market very well. I just didn't know, so I couldn't fundamentally hold it long term, so it ended up being a swing trade for me. But I've heard more news now that things are going well for them, but not as much as I'd like, so let's check out the price and see what it's doing.
So we had talked about this, I think, not too long ago, because it looks like my setup right here. Yeah. I know I talked about it on my channel, and I was saying that this zone was going to be a good loading zone based on a confirmation. And if you guys missed the mark, there might be a second opportunity for you right here at the $2.06 range. Let's go down to the daily real quick, but let me mark that out. Yeah, you guys might have missed the rally. So basically right now is where it's at based on the daily structure. It looks like this might be a good loading opportunity. Now, assuming that this zone, this $2.30 zone actually ends up being support, this would be a good loading zone. Otherwise, it would probably fall back down and retest this major structural zone right here at the $6 mark. Yeah, so basically what we would need to see is one candle test it, and then another testing candle to close above, and then finally a confirmation candle before I would look for buying opportunities. If I were to just look at
that would be trading the breakout, kind of confirming that it's likely going to break up from here.
Yeah, so treating this area as support essentially, and if that's the case, I would still say this would be the initial target, so the $4.95 range, and if that continues with a lot of momentum, just kind of seeing what price is doing right here at this zone. If it does reach it, then I would be looking at the $9.50 range.
Yeah, so that's a 50, a double, and then
Let's see
2.5.
Yeah, so that's 100 and then 300.
Nice. Cool. What about Polkadot? I know there's not a lot of history on this one.
So, like I said, you got to go to the highest time frame available with the most amount of history. So, that's going to be the weekly for us, and we're just going to be identifying these critical areas of structure relative to where price is at, so that when we overlay our fibs, we can kind of see more or less what's going to be more significant for us. So I'll probably use this leg. And you can see that this 38, I mean, it just shows once again the power of fibs. Obviously, they're not 100% accurate, but you can see this 38 ended up being a good support zone for us. So that would have been the optimal loading zone. And we might have missed that mark, but you see that we already treated this previous all-time high structure as support, and we're currently pretty close to where it's where we're trading pretty close to where that was at anyways. So this might be an actual optimal loading zone for you, assuming that we actually treat this area as support. So the targets, based on the fact that we ended up treating this 38 structure or fib as support, the first target is going to be around the 94.80 cents range, and then the second target is going to be closer towards the 186. So let's go down to the daily real quick and see what that's looking like. And you can see we already got a confirmation here. So, I mean, this is not a signal, but if you were to be looking at it, I would say this would be a pretty safe bet. Obviously, you want to keep your stop loss kind of tight and giving yourself some breathing room, but still keeping it kind of tight. But, I mean, based on this candles and the fact that we're trading above this previous structural zone, and we actually confirmed the fibs down here on the 38, seems like a pretty compelling buy.
That this is breaking out up is what it's looking like to you. And what was the top of that zone? Or what are the TP, the take profit one?
So take profit one is going to be 96. So that would be a 136 return. And then assuming that it does go towards TP2, that would be closer towards a 350.
Nice.
Cool. That's actually a pretty good buy.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been loading up on DOT as it's been trading sideways there because it hasn't been in the news a lot. And that's kind of my indicator when I don't hear about something every day after it had so much news and it pumped. There's kind of like a cool down period. And I tend to buy during the later part of that cool down period and just, sometimes I put in buy orders, but sometimes I just put in market orders like so that I don't miss it. It depends on how much time I know I'm going to have. In this case, I was just buying it what it was at every couple days that I was looking into it, and I'd buy a little bit more and I'd buy a little bit more and kind of dollar cost averaging in.
And honestly, this one already had some healthy consolidation. Well, I had a healthy retracement and some consolidation over the course of 28 days, so like a month or so. That's pretty solid.
It's pretty solid, especially in a bull market, right?
Yeah.
When everything's going crazy and it retraces. And so what happens a lot of times, people get impatient. They're like, oh, DOT's doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell and get into what just pumped? XRP. No.
Yeah.
The time to buy XRP was like 2 weeks ago. Not now.
When I called it out on my channel.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yes, so don't sell your DOT now to chase a run that already happened, right? Wait for the DOT run to happen, and then when it's finally cool, going to be near the end of the run, that's when you'd be taking profits and rolling it into something like another token that's in its cooling period. I mean, XRP is hitting huge market cap numbers. I checked this morning and it was like 80 billion or something on the market.
It's touching our 127 extension from
And
last time.
I'm grateful because that and BNB are pushing up expectations, so that'll be easier for Polkadot and Cardano to go way higher than that. So
Is Polkadot's not on Coinbase, right?
I don't think, not yet. And even if it was, then we wouldn't have very much history on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's look at what you called on XRP. I know we wouldn't have my drawings or your drawings necessarily on here.
Yeah, let's delete this. Yeah, you want to talk about this one? Okay, sure.
Yes, let's talk about XRP.
So
I'll tell you why not to buy now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a tendency when you're new and something is in the news and you're like, and you get this fear of missing out and you end up buying right at the end of the green candles before the retracements. And it's a frustrating way to miss out on some gains. Now, usually if you hold on long enough, you'll catch the next run, but that next run might be a month or 2 or 3 away. And so you missed out on catching something that might be about ready to run now, and then you could roll it into the run on that token like 2 months later, and you'll have a lot more to do it with.
I mean, it was a clean break right here. When I was looking at it on my time frame, so I was basically saying that we were looking for a 38% retracement, and those would give us our target points. So I can just do that for you guys real quick. So the second target point is going to be up here at the 278 range. And we already hit our first target point.
So it's right at the take profit 1 zone, just above, and it might hit the take profit 2 zone. Might is the operative word.
Yeah, exactly.
It may not.
So what we'll do is we'll go down to the lower time frame here and just kind of take a look at what the candles are showing us on the daily and 4 hour. So you see here that we actually are coming down to retrace it. Let's go back to the weekly and get a fib on this leg actually. So you can see that the 38 is kind of aligning closer to where structure is at, or that take profit zone is. Let's go back to the daily. And what I would want to see is basically a test, even if it's just a long wick, and just kind of trading above that previous take profit zone. If we can treat that as support, like I said, a 3 candle confirmation series, then it's possible that we will be able to see another run up towards the TP2. However, if it does break through, it's probably going to come back down and test the 68 zone, which is closer towards the dollar mark. And then if that fails, it's going to come back down and treat this 64 as support, more than likely.
See, and this is the frustrating thing about when you chase green candles. No, you could get lucky and it continues to run up from here, but then you haven't made that much gains yet, so then you tend to hold on, and then it does this big retracement down on you. And then you're either stuck at selling at a loss or just being patient and waiting it out, but then your funds are tied up for all that time, and you're missing out on a lot of other things. And so it's so tempting. This is the reasons why I avoid it. I did this a little bit in 2017, even though I kind of knew better. I just had to experience the pain myself. It's a lot like kicking a porcupine. You do it once or twice, but never again.
So yeah, I mean, you can see this area, this 61 zone is actually like really strong support. So if we do end up failing, we'll probably still be trading above this zone right here. And that'll give you another loading opportunity in like the very far future, like a couple months.
That's what you're waiting for. And so unless it hits something like that, just look for other things that are about ready to break out and showing good signs
Exactly.
that the run is ahead of them and not behind them.
Yeah, exactly. And if you were on this and it does hit take profit too, because it's such a high extension, it's likely going to see a crash retracement. So for me personally, if I was in this still, I would be looking at just setting limits up here and just, not trying to be too greedy and hoping it would go further.
I sold my XRP 5 weeks ago. I'm not sad at all because what I rolled it into more than 3x. So
yeah,
I sold it at 50 cents and it's 3x from there, which is totally fine. That's what I put it into, and it's just already such a high market cap. I imagine when Polkadot and Cardano are functional, they will way surpass where XRP's market cap can go. Yeah, or Devio. Angel's the one that introduced me to Devio, and so he called me up and said, "No, this blockchain had 8 million transactions per second." I'm like, that's impossible. I would have heard about it, but it's just, they've gone a different way than every other token, which is, we have this idea, and here's our white paper, so help us raise 200 million in funds, and then we're going to use that for development. They went a totally different way. So
they developed it, and then
they developed it, had it already working, had already big contracts deploying it
and
making
IP
money on it, and patents protecting it
globally.
And then you're hearing about it, which is
that's probably
actually
the way you should have done it.
safer investment, right? So I don't know the IPO or initial token offering details. We'll see how those come out. They're being fleshed out still today. If there's a chance for you to participate in that, absolutely.
I think on the last call there was an opportunity for pre-sale. So we're trying to talk to the CEO, Tom, about that to give you guys an opportunity.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Keep you guys updated.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
So what's next?
All right. I want to look at MATIC, Polygon.
What is that, Poly?
Yeah, MATIC. Now, if you look up MATIC. They rebranded to Polygon, but their token is MATIC.
MATIC Network?
Yeah, and so we're looking for the longest history, which
I think
Binance
might have it.
Nah, kind of. They have a history. So.
Okay, so like always, we're just gonna highest time frame available, and most of it's kind of consolidated up here. We already had a big run up, so this one probably would be looking for a deeper retracement. Personally, if I were to be looking at buying this again, but we'll see, because it seems like we might be treating this area as support.
Yeah, we'll look on the smaller timelines too, and just kind of.
So this is weekly now, and what we're gonna do is gonna throw our fib on and just kind of see what's sticking, and as I suspected, we're treating this 38 once again. This 38 in the crypto is kind of like our favorite number on the fib. As our support, during a bull market,
where the pullback goes to.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. So the next zone of actual structural support would be the 61, and that's at the 20 cents range. So basically what I'm saying is if the 38, where it's currently trading and confirmed already, does not get respected as support, we might see a pullback towards this 21 or 20 cent range, and that would probably be our next area of support. But because we already tested and confirmed this area as support on the weekly time frame, which is still significant, all we're going to be looking for right now is a slight pullback on the 4-hour and daily to get to our entry points. And take profit 1 is going to be around $1.20, and take profit 2 is going to be around the $2.36 range. So let's mark this up real quick, and we're going to keep our stop loss a little tight, giving it some room to breathe. And we can see here, if it does end up treating this area as support, as in it comes back down and we get an optimal entry, this would be a close to 266% ROI. And if it does go up towards TP2, which it definitely has legs to do so based on the history. And why is it not working? And that would get us a 600% ROI. So that's nuts. So basically, let's go down to the daily real quick and look for optimal entries. What exchange is this on anyways? I might go back home and buy it.
It's on Binance.
So pretty much where it's at currently is a pretty good opportunity to buy again. And let's go down to the 4 hour real quick.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for us. It's not going to retrace down after this big run, but it was practically free like 2 months ago. It was so cheap. It was one of those tokens like Holochain, like Omi as well, that were vastly out, just undervalued because of the bear market. And then all of a sudden they hit public awareness and bam, like the increases have been massive. But MATIC is where a lot of the gaming stuff is scaling to. In fact, I just did an interview that will be uploaded in a bit, or probably before this video, with Ember Sword, who is building a really cool game that's going to have like NFTs, cosmetic items that are NFTs that you can buy and sell, and they're using MATIC to run it on. In fact, that's where a lot of the games are going, just because it's so good for that. The fees are so cheap, and the game is just going to cover all the fees of people trading the items or getting the items and stuff. They're going to cover those costs, and where they make money is on the transactions. Like when you sell on the marketplace, they'll take a small fee on that, and they're hoping that and other ideas enough to fund the game development. So really looking forward to that game. If you get a chance, catch that video with one of the developers behind Ember Sword. It's a really cool game.
I'm trying to find a script that I created for you guys. Breakout EMA. I guess I don't have it public. But basically what I'm saying is we just need to see one more candle close. So this is, a little over 3 hours, and that would kind of confirm that this area is structure. And obviously, based on your entry conditions, this isn't a signal or anything. It could be a pretty optimal opportunity for you to enter for this for MATIC.
I'm considering, I have on the MATIC network, I have a wrapped Ethereum over there that I just convert over to Polygon.
Now, taking consideration that we might, if we don't, break past these structural highs, we could see a fall down towards this zone right here, which is the 20 cents range as well. But like I said, everything's kind of confirming and showing that it's likely going to continue going upward.
Yeah, there's a lot of usage and development coming its way, and so
it's already
we could get lucky that there could be some weak hands or paper hands that bought it so cheap that they're just super happy with the profits they've made. Then they sell and they bring the price down. That would be great.
That was like a 3,000% run from December.
Yeah, 30x, easy, like that.
Whoa.
Just like Komi and Hot did that, right?
So then 200 and then another 600 from there probably wouldn't be too crazy.
I put like 2,000 into Holochain, and the 2,000 turned into like 60,000, like since December.
So one more.
Cool. Let's cover, you know what, Ethereum might be due for more upside. Let's check out Ethereum.
Cool. So we had talked about this, if you guys have been following along for a while. We already talked about how this $2,000 mark was going to be a significant area for us because it was a round number. People like round numbers, and it was likely going to fall from there, and that's exactly what happened. But after we retraced, we actually ended up breaking above that 2,000 mark, and now let's go down to the daily and see what's happening here. We ended up treating it as support, so we came up, broke out. That's our signal candle, right? And then the test candle came down, and our confirmation candle confirmed this area of structure as support. And we came back down and tested again with structure. So we confirmed it with candles first, and then we confirmed it with structure, having a double bottom. And from there, we actually had a breakout above this 2,100 range. And right now, we're in the same process. We had that signal candle, we had this current test candle, and one more candle close, which just confirmed that we are just making new structural highs. And my first target, if you guys don't remember, was around the 3,500 range. So it seems like we have a lot of legs to go towards TP1 at this point. And real quick, take profit 2 is still going to be held at the 6,000 range. I think whenever it hits the 3,000 mark, just 3,000 flat, we might see some resistance anyways, just because it's a round number.
Psychological barrier.
Psychological, yeah, exactly. But if we break past that, we might see the 3,500 be our major range of significance or resistance, and then we might range a little bit sideways. However, if we do break above that, and once again treat same thing we did here at the 2,000 mark as support, then we're likely going to go up to that 6,000 range, and that could be at the end of the year.
I do feel some major pressure coming with cryptocurrency, and now that Bitcoin's running again, I have more people calling me, and that's kind of one of my indicators. When people I talked to about crypto 3 years ago call me, that's an indicator that, okay, more people are coming into this space.
Yeah, when my mom asks me, hey, where can I buy some Bitcoin?
Yeah. So I had another call yesterday. Hey, shoot, how do I buy these VV NFTs, and what coin should I be having? And I'm like, I can't tell you what coins you should be having. And VV NFTs, they're all sold out right now, so you got to wait for the next drops. But that's an indicator that there's more money coming into the market, and that's what causes these further runs. And it will get crazy this year. It will get absolutely crazy, and some of these prices will hit ridiculous numbers.
And still, to put it in perspective, we're still right here as far as like the curve of adoption. So we're still pretty early on. Once we get into the mass adoption range, that's where we're going to see like peak prices. But we're still pretty early as far as this curve goes. What was like the figure? Like less than 5% of people own any type of cryptos in the world, or have used any. So I mean, we're still really, really early, guys. But that doesn't mean you should take advantage of the situation if you're already.
Now, quick summary: there were two that were close to your entry conditions. MATIC, and what was the other one?
I don't remember the other one.
Was it DOT?
Might have been DOT. Let's just go.
Pull it back up.
Yeah, DOT. So
okay.
MATIC and DOT.
So you might want to take a close look at those two yourself. Chart them out yourself. See how you feel about them. None of this is financial advice. We're not financial advisors. We're just crypto investors ourselves, trying to make the best decision we can. Just taking the time to share with you why we're making the decision we're making and what we're interested in as investors based on the fundamentals and looking at the charts. But I especially love it when Angel can make it to give you a really deep technical analysis experience. Now he's continuing to do, literally he's doing most of the work on the course, the technical analysis course, and he's working on that. In the meantime, it just takes a long time to put together something really good there. What I do suggest is that you follow his YouTube channel and check it out, because the course is going to give you some additional things that are going to be helpful. Yeah. But really, to get good at this, literally just follow his different videos and watch how he charts it on the technical side. Yeah,
I do 2 to 3 videos a day, and I'm pretty much giving away my strategy through the videos and just trying to remind you guys to use proper risk for the most part, and just use confirmations, and just don't force a trade if it's not there. There's, like Jared was saying, there's a lot of opportunities, especially in the crypto space at the moment, so you don't need to be forcing opportunities if it's not ready, because then it's likely just going to go against you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. Appreciate it, guys.
All right.
I'm excited for the next one.
We thank you for joining us. And let me see here. We will catch you guys next time.
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, Rainmakers, let's make this happen.